Many voters do not want to see a Trump-Biden rematch in November, including the billionaire hedge fund manager, GOP megadonor Ken Griffin. The CEO from Citadel says he will not be focusing on the presidential race and instead is getting involved in some down-ballot races. Watch.
I would probably be where the prior group said 70% of Americans don't want that matchup. I'm in the 70%. So I've been involved in a number of the Senate races, a number of the House races. I'll be very deeply involved here in Florida and Florida races locally. Just because we can struggle with who our choice of president is doesn't mean that we have to walk away from the field.
Is this a blessing or a curse for Republicans? Because what he's saying there is he's telling all his buddies in the Republican donor class, you know what? If it's Trump, don't spend at the top of the ticket, spend down ballot. Blessing or curse?
This is a curse. Let me just jump ahead of you.
Go ahead.
This is him giving permission to Republicans to split the ticket, to put Biden at the top of the ticket, and then use Republicans in the Senate and House.
You think that's what it is? I don't think he's saying vote Joe Biden.
I don't think he's saying vote Joe Biden, but I think he's saying that there's a check against Democrats in the White House.
But he also said that some of President Trump's policies were very, very good, and the economy was very good under Trump. So I don't necessarily think it's that. And knowing kind of the Ken world, I mean, he's been involved in Senate and House races forever. He gave a lot of money to Haley. Not a lot of, I mean, not in his world, a lot of money. In my world.
A lot of money to me and you.
You know, in January. But I mean, I think that I would assume he's not going to, if he doesn't feel like she's a path to win, he's not going to.
What'd you hear there from Ken Griffin?
Well, if he had come out and said he would support Donald Trump if there was money, his weight, and everything behind him, these two panelists next to me would say, of course it's a blessing for us because a CEO and a hedge fund guy comes out and supports Trump. We're for the people. Look, I don't think it matters really all that much at the end of the day. Money does obviously play a huge role in politics.
Well, I'm not saying him specifically matters, but whether or not it's sort of like a...
No. Look, they will care ultimately who's at the top of that ticket and the policies that person puts in place. And so I'd imagine they get involved in one way or the other.
All right, Democrats go.
What's interesting about what Ken said is the struggle for all Republicans who cannot vote for Trump. You have two unpopular candidates, and the real challenge for both parties on Election Day is who's going to mobilize their base better, because that's who's going to win. Who can get the, what do they call them, the butts out of the House and to the election, to the poll.
That's the technical term.
That too. And if they can do that, whoever does that better on these two unpopular candidates is probably going to win.
If Donald Trump could shut up, then he would win the election. But Republicans can't really fathom voting for him.
Yeah, Sean, come in.
I just want to be clear. The two unpopular candidates are Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, right? I just want to those are the two unpopular candidates.
She's not on the top of the ticket.
Okay.
Donald Trump, my friend. Donald Trump.
But in all seriousness, look, I've worked at every one of the federal committees, the RNC, the NRCC, the NRSC. They're all struggling to get money. So the idea that Ken Griffin is going to put his money on the two federal committees that help the House and the Senate is fine. There's going to be plenty of money at the top of the ticket. As Hogan said, I think at the end of the day, all these guys come home because they realize what's at stake. But it's not a bad idea, to be honest with you, that he's spreading it out a little because we need money to look after the House and the Senate. So great, that's fine, and he's one person.
All right. Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.